What's going on, everyone? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, and we have an exciting episode of our weekly Forex analyst and forecast for the upcoming week. There's a lot in store. There's a lot going on the markets. We're going to unravel it all before you right now. Let's start off with the calendar for the coming week, and it is a busy one. Starting off with Monday, we have affecting the euro. We have the French Flash Services PMI, followed by the German Flash Manufacturing and Services PMI. Euro traders, be alert, be aware. An hour later, we have also on Monday, the Flash Manufacturing and Services PMI out of the UK. This is greatly going to affect all pound traders. Be alert. This might give the next direction as far as what the British pound does. In the morning, we also have Flash Manufacturing's PMI affecting the US dollar. It is going to be a busy Monday. And as you're going to see in a moment, we're at some critical support and resistance levels. Everyone be aware. Later that night, out of Australia, the central bank is going to release their monetary policy meeting minutes. That also could definitely affect the Australian dollar. We're going to be looking at the Australian dollar, US dollar, Australian dollar, Japanese yen. We have a busy week on the calendar ahead of us. Always look at the calendar, and before you enter a trade, know if there's any upcoming high impact news events on the pairs you are getting involved with. Let's kick it off. We'll start with the Euro US dollar. And like I said, we have a lot of pairs at some critical support and resistance levels right now. Starting off in the daily, we'll do a top-down analysis, and you can see this resistance level did not hold last week, okay? You can see this on Friday, and it has come all the way down and traded to this next support level. Let's move down to the 8-hour time frame and see what that looks like, get a better look at it. And you could see clearly, here's the rejection of this resistance level. It didn't hold. And look over at this wick candle over here. This is why you always want to wait for the close to know if it's above or below a resistance level. It wicked up here. It didn't find any buyers. And then since we've traded down and then down hard late into Friday, all the way to this support level. Look at this trend line right here. Okay. Price is currently holding above this support line, that green line, and also above this trend line support. If it breaks down, expect some follow through. Again, we have those big numbers Monday during the London session coming out of Europe, both out of France and Germany. And this is probably going to give the direction whether or not this support over here holds or whether or not we break through to the downside. So be on alert. If you're looking to take any pairs on the Euro US dollar, make sure you wait for those numbers to get out of the way. Be aware that we are right now trading off of support. This is an excellent area to trade off of. Depending on what those numbers are, might lead to the next move. All right, so caution, be aware, and we're going to see some really good developments happen during Monday's London session here on the Euro US dollar. I mentioned some really important levels. You could see this playing out on the DXY. This is the dollar index, and you can see that last week on Thursday we broke down. This heavy support here did not hold, and price broke down and has since come up and it is testing that resistance right now. We just looked at the support the Euro US dollar was trading down against, and here you could see it. We're right up at resistance. Again, wait until Monday and we're going to find out which direction we do, whether or not we're able to break through this resistance here and regain this support that was broken on Thursday, or whether or not we're going to just retest this resistance and trade down. Really important. You could take a look here at the 8-hour. You're not getting a much better look than on the daily, but right here, this resistance, there's a good possibility that it's going to hold as resistance and will come reversing back down. If we do trade above this resistance, and again, we have manufacturing PMI numbers coming out Monday morning US session, and that should help give the direction here as well. So it's an important day. Everyone be on high alert. Be aware of what's going on as you get into these trades and we watch things unfold. We'll be live streaming at 9 a.m. for the New York session. The PMI numbers come at 9:45, so we will be together and we'll be able to walk you through what happens and how we're trading it. Speaking of live stream, we're live streaming every Monday through Friday, building off this weekly Forex analysis and forecast as the market unfolds every day. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, we're putting out amazing content day after day. It's really going to help you. Go ahead and subscribe right now. Join us and work with us. If you're not able to catch the live streams, there's no problem. Go ahead and watch the replay. It will give you in the first 20 minutes a complete overview of all the Forex currency pairs for the day, laying out the pulse of the market as it's unfolding. It will definitely provide an additional edge to your trading, and we always look forward to working with everyone who joins us. Let's keep this going. Let's take a look at gold next. Gold on the daily time frame, we always start with a top-down approach. We look for our support and resistance levels. We're buying off of support, we're selling off of resistance. Here you can see that gold right now is currently, looks like it's trading within what looks to be like a bear flag. You can see this channel it's in right now. And right now you have some overhead resistance that we look to be coming and testing as early as during Asia. Look at this right here. You have this resistance line here at 1480, and you have this upper trend line, which is also resistance. You could see that was rejecting price on Thursday. This was actually a Trump tweet that sent this all the way down. And you can see the charts always price everything in. Here it's being played out. If you're looking to trade on gold, wait for a break. Wait for a breakdown out of this, what looks to be like a bear flag. And if we do get a breakdown, we might actually get a really nice continuation of this current move. Or wait until we get above this resistance, wait until we get out of this channel and you see this heavy resistance above. Once we clear that all the way up at 1494, then things start looking really bullish and we'll get involved in that. But right now, watch for how this channel plays out. Watch for the break to the downside or the upside. Be aware that this channel so far is holding up and you're trading right in the middle of it. We're going to get to the pound pairs. We're going to get to the pound US dollar, pound Japanese yen next. But first, let's look at the Australian dollar. This is the Australian dollar trading against the US dollar. And the reason I want to look at this now with you is because if you look at this, this is a 1 year trend line that price this week has broken out of to the upside. This could potentially be a big move that is playing out, or adversely, either we're going to be rejected and trade back right down into this channel. So this is a big week for the Australian dollar. I'm watching it here on the US dollar, looking how to play it. And you could see what happened. You could see the breakout of that channel, that year-long channel, and the price came up. It didn't hold this resistance here and traded all the way back down. And currently that channel support is holding as support. And then here you have this little resistance here. Once price broke out, that's also holding right now as support. If we trade back below that, there's a good chance that this over here, this also trendline support might not hold. And you have this support down here at 0.6805 to really look at. So if you get below here, below this support right now, then we have a little bit of a move all the way down to the next support at 1604. If we do resume upwards over here, this is an excellent opportunity in my opinion. I'm going to be looking to getting long the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. And we're also going to look right now first at the Australian dollar Japanese yen before we get into the pound pairs. All right, here we are looking at the Australian dollar Japanese yen, and you can see we're also looking at a really long trend line that has been broken this week. All right, this sets up a possibility for getting long now on the Australian dollar Japanese yen after we've had the breakout come up and have since come back down and are looking to be testing this broken resistance of the trend line, this broken resistance right here in at 74.77. And this should now hold as support. And if it does and we resume upwards, this might be dependent on both these Australian dollar pairs, what Monday evening the monetary policy meeting minutes look like. I have a feeling they're going to be supportive of the Australian dollar. We're going to let price take us into the trade. Nevertheless, I'll be looking for a possible entry also here on the Australian dollar Japanese yen. And I'll tell you what, on the US dollar, Australian dollar, US dollar, I'm looking at for a normal swing trade, and we'll trade it as such. If I could get into this pair, the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, now that we've broken out of this trend line, and I enter it as a normal swing trade, I will only use the normal risk to rewards. I will look to see if this can turn into a position trade. If we are able to get an entry here and then get past this overhead resistance at 76.24, 23.6, we might have a really nice position trade on our hands. We'll see. We're just going to let price take us in and price let the trade run. I'm very focused on this pair as I'm laying out my weekly Forex forecast this weekend, and I want you also to focus in on it. All right, moving on to the British pound US dollars. A lot of traders are definitely focused here on the pound now. We've had the result of the elections, and we've seen price really appreciate. This was like a 2.5% move, and you can see that price has already started coming off. If you're looking here just at this one daily chart, that's a pretty big wick. Let's look at that on the weekly and see what that looks like. And you can see this looks pretty healthy. You can see that price simply has come down and tested this resistance right here. It's simply holding above a support level. That looks really healthy, all right? Now, let's go back and look at this on the 8-hour time frame. And you can see that price is holding structurally really well after that large expansion. It's holding up, it's holding above the support level, and that looks good. But I'll tell you what, we have also on Monday, we have PMI numbers coming out of England. Let's wait for that data to get priced into the market. That could actually be the next catalyst to see which way the pound moves. I think there's better opportunity. I know a lot of traders are focused right now on the pound. I think there's a lot of opportunity elsewhere. We just saw them on the euro US dollar. We saw that we should be standing aside on gold. We saw on the Australian dollar US dollar, we're at another pivotal point. It's a great place for entries, as well as on the Australian dollar Japanese yen. I personally am just continuing to watch what unfolds here, and it's not the time for me to get involved. But let's check out what's happening on the pound Japanese yen. All right, pound Japanese yen, we have a very similar story. We are seeing that huge breakout off of the election results, and that's good. And you can see here, look at this trend line, this channel you have over here. This is providing guidance to you right now. As long as price is remaining above that, you can see over here, you have some congestion. This is a supply zone. We're holding above it. That's a good sign. You could lean against this trend channel here. As long as price stays above it, you're exceedingly bullish. Now again, I'm waiting for the PMI numbers to get out of the way on Monday before I look for the next direction on the pound pairs. If we drop down to the 8-hour, here you get a better look at that trend line. You see prices holding above it. Structurally, this looks really good, and I still think there's better opportunities elsewhere. I would like to wait after this big price appreciation to see what settles down a little bit more before getting involved. A lot of traders are obviously drawn right now to the pound because of the explosive moves. I am actually looking for more clarity that I'm finding elsewhere, and I'll come back to this. We'll be looking at it on Monday and see what story is being played out and how we can get involved later. Let's keep going here. Let's look at the US dollar, Japanese yen right now. This looks really good. Let's see. We have here this rising wedge pattern that we've been following, and we saw last week that price broke down out of it. Now, we had this support level drawn in over here, and actually over down here at 108.21, and we were watching that. We didn't want to take a short out of the breakdown of this wedge pattern here because we saw that support was really close. This is since held, and price has now climbed back into this rising wedge channel. This is looking quite bullish. Of course, we saw the DXY is trading at a resistance level. So I think the next move here on the US dollar Japanese yen might be dependent on the manufacturing PMI numbers, 9:45 on Monday Eastern time. That's where I'm going to be waiting to see what happens here. There is, if we continue to go ahead and climb and take another look at this resistance right here, there is some nice potential if this current trend continues here. You would look to take profits into this upper resistance of this rising wedge. So you have some nice, decent room to look. Let me look at that on the 8-hour. And it just seems to me, now that the trend has turned here to the upside, we're above these support levels over here. We broke out over here, and you see a double touch over here. But if price is able to resume up here, you might be able to take out this resistance and trade higher up into this upper resistance of this trend line over here. So this is something to watch. I feel like there's more opportunity on the Euro US dollar right now. I feel like there's more opportunity on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, Australian dollar, US dollar. But this is one to watch, and this is something that, as of Monday morning in New York, all of a sudden might be providing some possibilities for us. So we'll keep an eye on it. We've had some requests to look at crude oil. We're going to look at crude oil this week. You could see this trend line over here that I've drawn in. I've actually been using this as a guide. As long as that you're above it, you are definitely bullish. We broke down over here, and then this support held. This is when we first started watching crude together. We saw the breakdown over here. This support held, and since it's climbed back above that trend line. Now, there's the possibility, and it looks like we have the potential right now to be moving into a risk-on environment. And if we do, this looks like crude oil here might potentially be able to make some movement to the upside. We might be taking a look higher, all the way up to $63 in the next couple of weeks. It's entirely possible. As long as we're above this trend line, I would be bullish on crude. As soon as we crack below it, then we open ourselves up for another retest of this support all the way down at 54. But as we're entering this risk-on environment, or appears to be a risk-on environment, that should help provide a bid for crude oil, and also perhaps the Canadian dollar. Let's look at the Canadian dollar. All right, US dollar, Canadian dollar, let's take a look. You know what? It's always important to actually review your trades, and that's whether you took the trade or not. Those of you who've been following along on our weekly Forex forecasts and live streams, whether it's live or on the replay, know that I was actually looking for the top of this blue box, looking at a potential reversal and short on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. I never took it. I never had the opportunity to take it. And reviewing this and seeing it was the breakdown of this channel that was the opportune moment to get short here. You're coming off of this trend line, also providing resistance. And I didn't take this. I was looking at this resistance here, the top of the blue box. I was waiting and waiting for my trade to come to me. It came to me and I missed it. Look at this. Since then, it has broken down off of this trend line resistance, off of this resistance here, the top of this blue box. And once it broke this trend line here, it has come down all the way to this support here. It is right now trading at support. We know the US dollar on the DXY is trading at a resistance level. If that resistance level is rejected, and again, we have that manufacturing PMI print coming 9:45 in the morning on Monday. If we do see a resumption here to the downside, there's still time to get short. The Canadian dollar could be leading to the downside if the US dollar does continue to turn. So I'm going to be watching this. I'll be looking at the US dollar, Canadian dollar. I'll come back to it, but I'm not going to be looking for an entry anytime on Monday until after the PMI prints out of the way. I'll revisit this. I'll look at the US dollar, Canadian dollar. I have a short bias strong now, and if we get below this current level they're at right now, if we resume downwards, this looks like this could be a really good trade revisiting down here, down at the low of 0.13054 in that area. So let's keep an eye on this. We'll move this over to really promising and watch what develops on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. I really enjoy doing these weekly Forex forecasts and analysis with you. It's a really important element into my trading. By going ahead and spending the time to review the markets and laying out a plan ahead of time, I'm able then, as the market continues to unfold, I'm able to unwrap the story along with it. It really provides one of the most important edges that I have, and I hope that you enjoy it too. If you're not with us already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead, if you can't join us for the live streams, go ahead and watch the replay. If you spend 15-20 minutes a day watching the review in the beginning of the markets, you also will have your pulse on the market. It's going to improve your trading. It's going to improve your results. And I hope that you do join us. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you on Monday. That's it for now.